Hey, what's going on, Mr. Jack? Hey, let's take a look at your swing. I have the last two swings. We had some pretty good ones on this. The other few were fouling off. So I'm going to put this swing in slow-mo. I know that's kind of cool to see for the first time if you've never seen that before. And we're going to back it up, put it in slow motion, and have it loop. So we'll do it a couple times and kind of check it out. See if you see anything there. This is probably one of the coolest things that I ever saw with my swing when I saw it on slow-mo for the first time. It wasn't this sophisticated. I couldn't control or ride on it or anything like that. I couldn't control how many times I'd only push rewind and then play again. So let's go one more. Okie doke. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to bring that out and bring it back to the beginning. So we're going to go over your swing on video and see. I try to not make any hitting decisions unless I watch video first, because I don't trust my eyes. No matter how many swings I've seen or taken myself, I don't trust, because the swing is such a quick moving dynamic movement that it's hard to really dial down what's really happening. So we talked about your stance. Now remember, this video was shot before we talked any stance or head stuff. So here, you can see we're a little close to the plate, so I had you back off a little bit. And the other thing was that our hands were so far behind, and you'll find out in a couple minutes, why we don't want these hands back as far as you have them right now. You can see already that this arm is already starting to bar out, and when in this swing we try and load with our hands, so our arm extends farther and we arm bar a little bit. So we'll look at that in a little bit. So first things first, we looked at your stance and we did some things. So definitely I hope we worked on those this last week, and by the time I see you this week, if that's when we see each other, that everything is fixed and looks a little better, in a better position to put us in when we start moving. Next thing we look at is our vision, when we talked about nose behind barrel. Now, I look at the head movement once that front heel drops. So you see that front heel. So once that heel drops and hits the ground, what I do is I like to draw an oval around the head. And that head, once the heel drops, should stay within that circle. Now, you're one of the few that when I do this, your head stays right in there, so you're seeing the ball pretty well. Maybe I'd like to see you with the nose a little bit more behind the barrel. So you got the eyes are more out in front here. I want to see the eyes more back here when we get this ball. Definitely farther ahead than a lot of the kids that I've seen. Most of them have their head out this way, and they're trying to hit the ball with the corner of their eye, like we talked about in our last session. But your head stays nice and still in that bubble. Just maybe need to get that nose behind the barrel a little better. But vision looks pretty good. Pretty good. You're probably about 90% there. So hopefully that's fixed too by the time I see you next. So just really exaggerate your nose behind the barrel and make sure you keep it behind the barrel even after you're finished. So the next thing I like to look at is the footwork. So now we're going to be getting you a little bit more forward momentum. Okay, we're just picking the foot up and front foot up and putting it down. We're going to get you moving a little bit more. I don't want you to make any of these fixes, by the way, I'm going to talk about. I don't want you to start working all this stuff. I just want you to focus on the stance stuff we talked about with your hands, hand placement in the beginning, and your distance from the plate. That's the only, in that and the nose behind the barrel. That's all I want you to work on. This other stuff that I'm going to mention, you wait until we get together. I don't want you to start doing the wrong thing and then we have to unwind the bad habit. So we're going to give you a little bit more forward momentum with that front foot. Probably end up shortening up your stride or your base a little bit so we can get a little bit more momentum. But we're going to get that foot, that gas pedal. I talk about the front foot being the gas pedal and the back foot being the brake pedal. Now, you have a decent turn with the hips. The hips turn for the most part, and then the knee and then the ankle. They all seem to, in this one, turn just about in sync with each other. So we'll get a little bit more lag time with that as we work on our forward momentum and the 5 F words that we'll be looking at. But that back foot does come up on the toe, which is good. I do like that. That means you're not squishing the bug. And we're getting a nice little L position here in this back leg, which looks really good. A lot of kids tend to straighten this leg out, and because they're pushing with the back leg, but we tend to have a pretty good rotating swing here. The one thing that we will improve on, the reason why we're hitting the ball on the ground a lot, is that our angle back, this is our snapping towel effect, is about 70 degrees, at least last time I measured. Yeah, 69 degrees. So we need to get you back to about 60 to 63 degrees. So we're going to get a little bit more lean back over that back leg, and we're going to get you elevating that ball more. That's going to help you get on plane better and get that ball in the gap versus just little low line drives in the holes. We want to get you line driving in the gap to stand up double where you're not getting dirty sliding into second base. So if we look, so the footwork, we're definitely going to polish up a little bit. Now the upper body, your vision looks good. The upper body, I told you the reason why we don't want those hands loaded back like they are, because as you go into your load itself, your swing rests solely around the loading of your hands, and maybe front foot going forward and the hands going behind you a little bit. So what that does, you can see right there, look at that front arm, what it does when you load. Boom, it is already straight. So what's going to happen right now is our body's going to have to swing around that stiff front arm, which is like the ice skater we talked about spinning in a circle with her arms out. She slows down. Now, getting those arms a little bit more connected, your back arm doesn't seem to be a problem. It looks actually pretty good. It slots pretty good. That back elbow back there, and it stays decent connected here into the rib cage, and we get a nice little tilt towards the plate. That's pretty good. It's a front arm that's the problem. So we'll clean that up a little bit. But it puts a parachute on our barrel when we straighten that arm out. But overall, man, it looks good. You've been doing good, Jack. And I'm looking forward to cleaning some of this up, and we'll get you hitting the ball in the air, more on a line with power into the gaps in no time. But definitely a good base to start with. You've done some good stuff already. Now we're just going to make it better. So I will be in touch with you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you got any questions, you know where to find me. Either call or email, and I'll talk to you guys. See you next time.